Hey, welcome back to the Grit Hoops podcast. This is episode 14, and today we're going to talk about how to stand out and get recognized as an impact player when you're on the court. I hope you're ready to lock in on this. Get ready to attack.
Welcome to the Grit Hoops podcast, powered by Grit Basketball, where passion meets performance. This is the show for players, coaches, and parents who are committed to real development, elite skills, and the mindset it takes to win. We break down the game, cut through the myths, and give you the tools to maximize potential on and off the court. If you're ready to put in the work and take your game to the next level, let's get to it.
Coming up in today's episode, we're going to talk to you about, like I said, how to stand out, especially this time of year, maybe fighting for playing time. You're trying to make a team, trying to show your coach, or maybe even get to the next level, show a future coach that you are a player that should be on the court and should be recruited to play at that next level. So I want to give some insight to players. As you know, we've been doing this training thing for over a decade, and we've helped thousands of players play at the collegiate level. And we have tons of insight on this topic because we're always talking to our players about this and getting better and how to improve in this area. So we want to try to give you some of that knowledge so you can probably put some of these things into your game to help you get to where you're trying to get to. All right, so I'm not going to have you wait till the end to give you all the 6 or 7 things that I want to point out, but I'll give you all of them right up front. So the first thing is skills. All right, number one is skills. If you're a skilled player, you can dribble, shoot, no matter what the sport is. If you're skilled, you're going to most likely make the team, right? So acquiring skills. Some people, unfortunately, are going to have less skills. Maybe they didn't train enough and they're behind the 8 ball, but skills is huge. The next thing, number 2, is effort. When we think about effort, we're talking about things that being in shape, right? Your effort, your energy level, being in shape, defensive effort, sprinting the floor, rebounding, screening well. How much do you give effort on those things outside of maybe your individual skills, right? You might not be the most skilled person, but can you bring effort throughout? If you do that, you probably put yourself in a position to stand out. The next thing, number 3, is your leadership, IQ, and communication. I put those all in at under one. Because I feel if you're communicating, but you're saying things that don't make sense and your IQ is low, doesn't matter. So your IQ, your leadership, your communication all go hand in hand. Hopefully you have IQ, you've learned the game, you're around people that are teaching you the game at a high level, and then you're comfortable enough to communicate it, and you demonstrate great leadership. You talk to people well, you're positive influence on your teammates. You kind of are a coach on the floor and you're communicating with them in a way where they're taking in the information, right? So every coach loves that, loves to have a leader and someone that has a high IQ because they know they're extension of them on the floor. All right, next thing, number 5, overall athleticism and athletic ability. I had to add this one in there because it's true, right? If you're just a superior athlete, if you're more athletic, we're referring to more running, jumping, and maybe even size we could put in there. You're 6'7", or you're super fast, right? Those are things that can help you stand out. What I recommend for those players, if you're not the most skilled, make sure you're putting your athleticism to the forefront, right? Usually you're backing it up with a lot of effort. So you're giving effort with your rebounds, effort defensively, and you're showing that your athleticism has a huge impact in these areas. Even if you're lacking skill, this may be something that stands out and helps you separate yourself from other people. And last one, number 6, is reliability and accountability. The coach or the player, it doesn't even matter if you're going for a job interview, they have to know you're reliable. If you're reliable, they know they can count on you to be at games, being there on time, being at games on time, holding yourself accountable to keeping, your grades where they should be, to be eligible to play, and all those things on and off the court, being accountable, being a good student, being a great, player and teammate, when it comes to your holding yourself accountable to being the best you could be every day. All right. So those are the 6, I think, pillars and 6 things to really bring to help you get to shine and to separate yourself from your peers. The number one thing on there, as you see, was skill. Skill is, I think, it's right. We think of professional players, they embody many of these categories, but without skill, you're very limited, right? You're limited to maybe being a defensive player, or maybe if you're big, you could get away with it a little more. But skill is a primary foundation to helping you get to where you're trying to get to. Now we're going to talk about the why and the how. So why these things are so important, and how do you showcase these things, and how do you acquire these things? All right. So first, when pertaining to skill, the way you acquire skill is not by playing in games. We say this all the time. The way you acquire skills is by training relentlessly, training countlessly, putting in countless hours to your craft. I just saw a post today about Michaela Blakes, who's one of the players that I've been fortunate enough to train and help her along her journey. Michaela's now at Vanderbilt, and her college coach was just saying she believes she's the number one player in the country, which I believe she's the best player in the country right now. And she also said in there, she said she believes she's the most skilled player in the country, and that's I think what separates her. Right, Michaela's not the tallest. She's pretty quick. She's athletic, but she's super skilled and she's polished. Like I said, we've helped Michaela since I believe 4th grade on crafting her skills and developing her skills. And I can tell you, she wasn't always the most skilled. She's dedicated to her craft and constantly adding skills to her game. And this applies to 99% of the players that we have worked with. They weren't the most skilled players when they started, and then years later they have developed that skill. The how and the why with skill is skill trumps everything, right? You cannot be the most athletic player but have the skill and still be able to compete. All right, so that's why skill is so important, and how you acquire it is by putting in countless hours on and off the court. Obviously, you can be, working on your skill at home in a garage. You could be working on your skill. I just saw a video of a guy working on his skill in his bedroom. He's now an NBA player working on his dribble moves and his footwork with an imaginary ball, right? So you have to work on your skills as much as you can, and that's the only way to grind with that. The first part I'll say with effort, why it's so important is because a lot of people don't bring that consistently. Some people, they're lazier by nature, and they have not broken or developed the habit to give effort a lot of the time. So you giving effort, max effort, often will separate you. All right, because a lot of people don't. Next thing, how you acquire a better effort and level and energy level is by being in shape. Number one, giving effort mindfully in training sessions. Right when you step foot on the court, you in little spurts, you make the conscious decision that you're going to run in to get the rebound. You're going to screen every time really well. You and develop the habit to where giving effort becomes just a consistent thing. And there's many players that we see professional level. You don't get to that level unless you give effort, right? But there's even people on that level that separate themselves. They give a next level defensive effort or next level rebounding effort, right? Think of Dennis Rodman on the boards, or think of, there's players defensively. I mean, let's say one of Olivia Miles' teammates last year, Hannah Hidalgo, gives a ton of effort on the defensive end, and it stands out, right? So you can try to give effort in little spurts until it becomes a habit. Okay, so that's the how you do it. All right. The next one, leadership, IQ, and communication. My recommendation, number one, why it's so important. Leadership is huge because the coach can't be the only leader on the floor. The manager can't be the only leader in the office, or the CEO can't be the only leader of the business. There needs to be leaders throughout, and that's like any great organization. So coaches will always look for people that are leaders throughout their team. So if you can be a leader, you could bring leadership qualities. Some things as simple as holding yourself accountable. Number one, working hard, giving effort, but holding yourself accountable, being at everything, motivating your teammates to be better, making sure you understand what's going on at a high level. If your coach is very play-oriented, which obviously you guys know we don't recommend, we're more at grit and attack first. With the attack first mindset, we more like to teach through concepts and reading the game and not so rigid. But whatever your coach's approach, buy into it and learn. It all boils down to some of the same concepts, right? Even if your coach runs a ton of plays, it's going to have probably a pick and roll, probably a screen down or flare screen. Just understand the concepts and the continuity of whatever you're running and have a high IQ, and then be able to communicate that. Be a person that's talking all the time on the court. You're yelling, you're screaming, you're pointing, you're communicating defensively and offensively. When the coach is talking, your eyes are on coach and you're paying attention and you're bringing those great, we would say, characteristics that demonstrate leadership. Okay? So that's how and why when it comes to leadership, IQ, and communication. The next thing, mentality, toughness, work ethic. I have those under one because let's think about it here. Mentality is, I think, how you handle adversity. When you're getting bumped and or you got a foul call or you made a mistake, do you run back on defense? How do you handle adversity? Do you step up in big moments? Are you poised in games, or do you get frantic, right? Developing a more calm nature about you is huge when it comes to performing at a high level. Toughness, how tough you are, right? That kind of ties in with mentality. What's your mentality when it comes to people pushing you around and how you respond? Toughness isn't fouling and hitting people. That's actually not the toughest thing to do. It's playing the game within legal boundaries, but pushing the limits of it to compete at your highest level. Work ethic is huge. That's going to tie back in almost up to the skill, the number one, because if you're working, you're putting in the work before practice, after practice, you're doing extra things, that's going to help you separate yourself. So a player's work ethic, their mental toughness, I feel like that's another big factor you can bring. It's a little different from leadership and IQ. Toughness is more demonstrated by you, and you have to show that on a consistent basis. Number 5, overall athleticism and athletic ability. The how and the why with that, this one's tricky because some people are just more athletic, right? Genetically, they're more athletic. But things that you can control with this is being in shape, making sure you're doing jump training, you're jumping, you're running, you're sprinting. If you're playing a sport like basketball and you never work on your jumping, you never work on sprinting and stopping and changing direction, you're holding back a big part of your potential, right? So make sure you have some type of athletic training within your daily regimen, okay? And another quick story to bring up, I recently met Coach Blake. Coach Blake's, or Blake, who is coincidentally Blake's and Jalen Blake's physical trainer. He does speed and agility with them. He does strength training with them. Most really high-level athletes, they have that person, right, that's helping them and holding them accountable to their physical fitness, their athleticism, and injury prevention, right? So try to have that. If you can't afford to have a hire trainer to do it, there's more than enough information on YouTube, and get out and run and jump and do those things so that you have a strong athletic base. And lastly, reliability and accountability. The how and the why with that is, as you guys know, who doesn't want to work with someone that is accountable? I think every coach wants to work with someone that holds himself accountable and that they can rely on, that is a reliable person. If you're unreliable, let's say, I don't want to use him as an example, but fortunately he's the first that comes to mind. Let's say Ja Morant, right? He is somewhat unreliable or very unreliable for his team because he's gotten in trouble off the court. He's gotten suspended for games or a whole season, right? Things like that. If you're getting in trouble outside of, let's say you're in high school and you're not getting in trouble outside of school, or you're not doing what you're supposed to be doing with your grades and your schoolwork, and it makes you unreliable, a coach is not going to put up with that for much longer, even if you're super talented, because he can't count on you to be there or she can't count on you to be there. So reliability and accountability, the way you work on that, the how is very simple. Set standards for yourself. Hold yourself to those standards. Write down what your expectations are of yourself when it comes to your grades, when it comes to your work ethic off the court and on the court, what you expect and the standards that you have for yourself, and hold yourself accountable to them. Once you start doing this on a consistent basis, it's going to become habit. Any of these 6 things that I named, and I know it's more than 6 because some of them encumber more traits, but any of these things that I named, they're learned behaviors. They can be learned. They can be adopted and adapted into your life. Okay, so add them in slowly, and the more you have when it comes to skills, effort, leadership, communication, IQ, mentality, toughness, work ethic, overall athleticism, and your reliability. The more of these things you can bring, the more valuable you become for yourself, for any company, any team, anything that you're pursuing, right? So try to add these things into your life so that you can become more valuable and, just make it further. All right. The question that I have for you today will come. I have a quick question for you guys. It will come right after these short notes by Grit Basketball.
Basketball players and coaches, want to take your finishing to an elite level? The Grit Elite Finisher course is your fast track to mastering layups with both hands, finishing through contact, and making every shot count. This step-by-step program gives you lifetime access to high-level training and downloadable resources, helping you go from struggling at the rim to finishing with confidence in just weeks. Don't just take our word for it. Players like Diamond Miller of the Minnesota Lynx, Tucker Richardson playing pro in Europe, Olivia Miles from Notre Dame, Jalen Blakes played at Duke and Stanford, and Michaela Blakes at Vanderbilt. They have all sharpened their skills through elite training like this. For just $2.99, you get everything you need to elevate your game. Ready to finish strong? Sign up for the Grit Elite Finisher course today at gritbasketball.com. That's gritbasketball.com.
I have a quick question for you guys today. What I want you to do is talk about it with your kids. If you're a parent listening, ask your kid this question. If you're a player and you're listening, ask yourself this question. If you're comfortable enough to do it, please email us at podcast@gritbasketball.com. Email us your answer. We'd love to give you a shout out on the pod. Okay? So the question that I have for you today is, what drives and motivates you to be great, or to be the best you can be? What drives and motivates you to be the best you could be? And when I say the best you could be, on my notes here, I have what drives and motivates you to put in the work, right? Because that's to be the best you could be, right? And I'm more like even saying to put in the work, because the daily grind and the work you put in, that's what's going to be the factor in how far you go. So think about it. Parents, ask your kid, what drives and motivates you? To me personally, if I had to point out what drives and motivates me, is I love seeing players improve. I love seeing the growth and the success that each one of our players have been able to achieve while training. I love seeing even some of the things, selfishly, the things that I wasn't able to accomplish, I didn't know growing up as a kid. I love giving that knowledge back to kids and helping have a huge impact on their lives. And then as a business owner with Grit, and as you guys are going to hear towards the end of the podcast today with our new branch of business, Attack First, we impact the lives of many, from our coaches, our players, families. We have players going to Princeton, players getting scholarships, players playing at really great institutions. One of our players, Nikki Carter, shout out to Nikki. She recently, she actually went from D3, like I told her story before, worked her butt off, kept training throughout college, ended up getting to the D1 level. Now she's coaching at the D1 school. So she's now a Division I college coach, right? All from just working on her game and developing as a player and as a person. So you never know where things can lead. So continue working, and that's what motivates me on a daily basis, is seeing the success of others and helping other people, and then loving to give back to this game that has given me so much. So hope you guys have a similar drive and passion that you can point out. And please email it to us on podcast@gritbasketball.com. All right. Lastly, big announcement before we close today. The Grit app is almost here. Okay. That is huge news. Huge. I truly believe this is going to change how we view development, how we view game performance, how players evaluate themselves. It's just and the tool of helping players all around the world develop and get better at the game at an affordable cost and just on a mass scale is so empowering and exciting for us. So stay tuned for this. This is coming out very soon. So the Grit app right now, we're in testing. We actually have a couple coaches that will be rolling it out to in like a testing format, and then we'll be having this out to the general public. So if this is something you're interested in, stay updated on our website and tune in, because we're going to be releasing more and more updates on the Grit app. All right, so it's a Grit Attack First Mindset app. Keep an eye out for it. All right, hope you enjoyed today's episode, and always remember, attack first.
That's a wrap for this episode of the Grit Hoops Podcast. If you found value in today's conversation, be sure to subscribe or follow so you never miss an episode. Got questions or topics you want us to cover? Hit us up at gritbasketball.com/podcast or connect with us on social media. And remember, greatness isn't given, it's earned. Keep putting in the work, attack first, and we'll see you next time.